Okay, so The Rings of Power on Amazon. As of the time of this recording, there are 4 episodes out. But I want to focus on the first 2. Because those first 2 seem to draw a lot of ire from the fandom. And I'm talking about like people that, I know personally, like friends of mine, people I follow in the media, and YouTube reviewers who I trust just totally destroying this show. And I think I might have to add the caption, "I'm confused" on this thumbnail because I really don't understand why. Okay, so if you click this video, you know what the story is here. The Rings of Power is a prequel to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, taking place in the Second Age. We get a young Galadriel who's on a quest to hunt Sauron. Okay, so this show is very perplexing. So even before it came out, everyone said, "Oh my gosh, the show is going to be terrible." Now, I want to preface this. I'm not talking about the people who hated it because there were like black elves in it. What I don't get is the people who told me this show was, quote, so slow and so boring and it totally is not worth your time. It'll be the worst decision ever to watch these 2 hours. You'll just want these 2 hours back. And that's actually what put me off to making this video. Now, I didn't watch these 4 episodes really until between yesterday and today. So why do people hate this show? Like, I really, that is the main point. Like, I should preface, this is not like a review. It's really more of a discussion because I'm actually curious. If you want my thoughts, like TLDR, it's okay. It's just okay. The story is kind of mid. You have all these different characters in different spaces. Galadriel's off doing her thing. You got an elf and his human paramour doing their thing. You got the Harfoots, who discovered a giant man who fell from a meteor. They're doing their thing. And then Elrond and Celebrimbor, the man who creates the Rings of Power, they're off doing their own thing with the help of some dwarves. And obviously all these strands are going to come together in the end. There's not a character I really connect with. I think I'm most interested in Elrond's story just because that part of the lore is the most interesting to me. I don't really... Galadriel, I guess, is supposed to be the main character. As of this point, she's just another character. Not terrible, but not great either. She's kind of been meandering around a bit. The entire first episode was about her basically telling us, the audience, the story of how Morgoth destroyed the trees in her homeland, and how that led to an entire war on Middle-earth, and and that war led to her brother dying at the hands of Sauron, Morgoth's successor. We don't see any of that, which is very disappointing, so I would highly suggest you go read the lore. Everything about Morgoth in the Ainur, before they even came to Middle-earth, it's fantastic. It's a great story. Go read it. It is beautiful. Oh, God, it's like a painting. It's beautiful. But these first 2 episodes, it's not the worst thing I've watched. It's not great. You could probably tell that from my tone. I'm not really excited about it, but it's fine. That's the thing. It's fine. It's just okay. So I really don't understand the level of hatred. I think that's what's getting.
Yeah, I disagree.
I strongly disagree. I don't understand it. You know, these are the same people who told me that Venom Let There Be Carnage was a good movie, but Morbius was the bottom of the barrel trash. And I'm looking at it like, what are you guys talking about? This is the same movie. It's the same thing. They are the same thing. They are the same quality of movie. I did not get that at all. And I really don't get this. Again, it's not great. It's really not. But for you to say it's terrible, there have been shows that have been a lot worse than this. This was competently directed, competently acted. I think the worst thing about it might be the script, and it's just, those first 2 hours, we understand were the first 2 hours of a 8 or 10 hours first season, right? I saw a lot of people saying, well, in 2 hours into Fellowship, I knew that I liked it. Okay, well, that was a 3-hour movie, so I hope you like it 2/3 of the way in. Maybe by episode 6 or 7, if this show is just, crap, then you can go ahead and say, yeah, I don't like it. But the first 2 hours, come on, people, let it get its footing. I mean, we got some world building going on. We got, we're introduced to these characters. Like, can the show get started before people start saying it's horrible? Because seriously, right now I'm kind of in the middle, and I know it's not a popular place to be, but I don't hate it and I don't love it. I'm waiting, and I will watch this season to see what it's about. So I really just seriously, down in the comments, maybe you guys can tell me what's going on. The people who tell me this show is the worst, I'm old enough to remember when people told me when Game of Thrones first came on, and they were like, I have a friend. The first episode of Game of Thrones, he was like, this is so boring. What is happening? Who are all these people? Who are these people they're talking about? Oh my gosh, a boy got pushed out a window. That was the most exciting thing. Right now, this dude does not shut up about House of Dragon. He watches it every single week, and he still goes back and watches Game of Thrones. So, let the show play out a little bit before we judge it. That's all I'm saying. So, that's really what I wanted to get out here. I don't think Rings of Power is horrible based on its first 2 episodes. It's definitely not as bad as anything anyone might have told you. Seriously. I do think everyone should watch it and judge for themselves. This isn't an Avatar, The Last Airbender movie where, you can pretty reliably just believe you don't need to watch that. This one is something it's very well directed, beautifully shot, and the actors, they do their job. So it's the worst it is just another fantasy series, and I think if you're a hardcore Tolkien fan, maybe that's why you're not enthralled by this, especially given the budget of what was it $500 million, or maybe I think it was $750 million the show has. So maybe you're like, where's all the money going? But guys, just give it time. That's all I want to say. Give it time. Okay, rant over, but seriously, let me know. The Rings of Power. Let's talk about it. What did you guys think? And if you hated it, seriously, I really want to know what it is about the show you hated. I should mention, I don't really understand the tone of this show. That's something I didn't say earlier, but I do want to throw that in there. I don't really know who this show was supposed to be marketed to. Because it seemed like they wanted it to be their Game of Thrones, but it's not like Game of Thrones at all. It's nowhere near that level of, adults with the nudity and the violence. But then it's not really like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings either. It's the action is weird. Let me just say that. There are certain scenes where it seems like Galadriel cuts through a troll, there's no blood, and she just, slash, 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 and it's good. It's okay, so it's for a family. But then there's another scene where another elf, this elf and the human, they straight up murder people in pretty gruesome ways. So I'm not really sure what the tone they're going for is. So maybe I do take back that it was, expertly directed, but it's competent. But again, I'm going on a tangent here. Guys, please just go watch this for yourselves. Let me know what you think. And Rings of Power. Me and Jovi, we will talk about this at the end of the season, and we'll let you know what we think of those 10 episodes. Alright guys, thank you for spending this time with me. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. And until next time, I'm out.